This is the long-awaited mudroom tour. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome to the homestead. So today I'm going to give you a tour of our mudroom. This was something that Jaimie really wanted. She often said many times when the kids would come in and knock their boots off at the door, inside the door, that she really wished she had a mudroom. And now we have a mudroom. So on the side of our house, there's the entrance right there. Tim built all this. He built the extension, which here houses my office. And so I have a studio, recording studio inside there. I can take you on a tour of that. Patrons have already had a tour of this. But this new mudroom, I'm cooking a turkey because today is Thanksgiving. It's almost done. If you don't have one of these air fryers, you absolutely need one. They are awesome, amazing. This is the Charboy or whatever it is, Charbroil air fryer. It does a fantastic job. Let me give you a close-up of that. So we have used this a number of times. I got this last year. I wanted to have this ready for last year's Thanksgiving, but most of you know what all took place at last year's Thanksgiving. And so it never went used for a number of months. It just sat in the box until I finally got the time and energy to go ahead and pull it out and try it, and have been very excited with the results of this. And so it makes the perfect turkey with very little. I mean, you don't need to do any brining. There's no oil, for like a normal fryer. It's just a convection infrared heat type system, and it cooks the turkey just amazingly well. Very tender, very crisp outside, and it's just perfect. If you don't have one of these, I think they run about $100, anywhere from $100 to $150, depending on where you live. But really worth it. It does take propane, but it doesn't seem like it uses too much. I wonder how many cookings of turkeys you'd be able to get out of one bottle like that. But it does just an amazing job. And here below there's a tray where you can get all the drippings, and I've been emptying this about once an hour because I'm going to be making gravy with this coming up here soon. And so I don't know if you can see anything in there. No. But yeah, so we're working on that right now. It's Thanksgiving Day, and we're making all the fixins. I have the turkey, I have mashed potatoes, I've got gravy, and then Joanne, Jaimie's mom, is making stuffing and dessert. So that's what we're having tonight for Thanksgiving. Obviously, last year's Thanksgiving was a little tough, and it's tough this year too. So, I mean, last year's Thanksgiving, we spent it at some of our friends' house that opened their home to us, where Jaimie passed away while she was undergoing hospice. And, that day when she passed it right about noon. And I was really happy. I was just so happy that the pain was over for her. I had to really, I guess leading up to that point, guard my emotions, because there were times when, as the time approached that we knew was coming, after we got to the point that we knew this was going to be happening, there was a couple of times where me and Jaimie tried to talk about it. She was talking by text. She had one of her apps on her phone where because she couldn't talk. She had to use her phone to talk. And that's the only way she could communicate. And when we tried to talk about things, it was just too emotional for her and for me. And so she would begin to cry, and I would begin to cry, and her crying physically hurt her because of the cancer in her mouth. And so it was physically painful. And so we always tried to avoid the emotion and avoid talking about these things that were uncomfortable. And so it was the time when she had passed that, eventually when I got home a couple days later, that's when it hit, and, the shock and of the reality of what was happening. But on the day of Thanksgiving, I was really happy. I was just so happy and elated that the pain was over, and that now she was free of all that. And so it's still an emotional time, and we're getting through it. And we're going to give thanks for what we did have and what we still have. So we do have a lot. So I wanted to show you the mudroom, what we got. She really wanted a mudroom. So you come into the side of the house here, and you can see all of the boots and shoes lined up nicely. I'm trying to train my children, the two boys, to when they come inside to keep these shoes lined up and to keep them neat and orderly, they still sometimes come in the front door. I'm trying to train them to use the back door and come in this way. The front door is for guests, the back door is for us. And so now we have our mudroom, and I have the boys there. Some of their chores is to sweep out this mudroom every so often and keep it clean and to keep the rugs knocked out and clean as well. And then also in the mudroom, we have our coffee bucket. Now, this is something I've done videos on this before in the past. Really important. You want to have a coffee bucket. If you drink coffee, you want to have a coffee bucket, because if you're taking your coffee grounds and you're throwing them away, you're just letting the best part of your garden go to waste. The insects and worms, insects produce what's called insect frass, and worms produce what's called worm castings. Both of those two items are very, very expensive if you were to buy them at your local organic plant stores. They sell them in bags, and it's really expensive. But if you put this on your garden, you're going to encourage those insects and those worms to produce more castings and more frass. They love this stuff, and they go nuts for it. It's like crack cocaine to them, coffee grounds. Even the filters, you can put the filters right in your garden, and the worms will devour the filters as well, okay? They love it. So you don't have to worry about the trash. We put everything in here. Every day, I have my 1 cup a day, I put the filter and the coffee grounds in this bucket, and when it gets filled up, it goes on the garden. And so I have it out here in the mudroom, and every day it's Caleb's chore to take the coffee grounds and put them in the bucket. And then take the bucket when it's full out to the garden and dump the bucket, and then spread out the coffee grounds all over the garden. And so we do that a few times a year because it fills up a few times a year. You know, you'd be surprised how much coffee grounds 1 cup a day will produce. It's amazing, and you've seen how I make coffee before. So it adds up, and it produces a lot of coffee grounds, and your insects and your worms will absolutely love that. Over here, let me show you this. This is the new wine rack that Tim just built, and it looks fantastic. Built out of cedar that was harvested here on our homestead, milled on our sawmill, and then he took it and planed it down and built this beautiful, beautiful wine rack. And I've got a couple bottles of wine there. I'm just trying to test them out and see how that's going to work. And yeah, it looks great. So this is actually reserved for the future wine cellar, root cellar. So it's being built right now. You stay tuned for more videos on that. I have more coming up. But this is one of the wine racks that's going to be going into that wine cellar, among some others, and then also some shelving for things like canned goods, for the home canning that we do, and also for like squash and potatoes and other things, root vegetables that we keep in that root cellar, wine cellar. But this is one of the first wine racks that we have finished, and it's going to go into that wine cellar. Come on, tell me that's not a fantastic looking wine rack. Just amazing. And lastly, in the mudroom, I have a picture of us. We would go down the highway and we would visit some friends on Shabbat Saturdays, and we would stop. There's a lookout point where it's kind of nice for pictures, and we would stop every time we went down there and as a family grab a picture of us. And so this is one of my favorites, and we hung this. Someone made this for us, and so I hung it outside the window where I do dishes. So we used to have this, you know, as our backyard when you looked out that window, but now this is a wall there, so you want something to look at. And so we put a picture of the family right there. And above here we have a skylight that Tim put in when he built this, so that it's not dark when I'm looking through the window. It actually lightens up the photo. So it just looks nice with that skylight there. Puts a lot of light in here, so it's not too dark. Behind me I have storage, and again on the side here is my office, where we have our recording studio, and my computer work all gets done in there. So there is our Homestead Mudroom. Folks, you can go online and there's all kinds of ideas on places like Pinterest. When Jaimie would dream about her perfect mudroom, she would often go on Pinterest and look up all of the options on there. Some amazing details on how a mudroom can look and how it can be portrayed. And so she would get a lot of I don't know if any of this, she was gone before any of this was designed, so, but I would assume that she would like it. What she really hated was all of the dirt being tracked in and the shoes laying it by the door, which would get things dirty, bring in dirt, just make things unsightly. And so the mudroom was the solution to that. And it's the boys' chores to keep it clean, keep it swept out, and keep it presentable so that we can use it. And it's a valued and just an intrinsic part of our home. So anyway, that's the Homestead Mudroom. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you have a mudroom on your homestead, how you use it. You know, is it appreciated? Do you really, I mean, come on, tell me about your mudrooms. I want to hear about your mudroom. Do you have, maybe you don't have a mudroom. Leave a comment below and let me know. Also, be sure to like the video before you take off. I really appreciate that. That lets YouTube know that we're not crazy, that people actually do watch our videos, and that you enjoy them. So leave a like, leave a comment, and check out our sponsor at the end of the video, because most of our videos sometimes get demonetized, and we have to have a way to continue to bring amazing videos to you. All right, guys, see you next time on the Homestead. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Bye. Hey guys, I'm happy to introduce an American Homestead sponsor, Zervita Zeal. Now, first off, I only accept sponsors from products that I use and believe in. My family uses Zeal mainly because we want to ensure a healthy immune system. You see, it's made up of only whole food concentrates and includes no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. The included sweetener is all natural from fruit and the stevia leaf. It's gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's kosher. In 2018, my youngest son was involved in a bike accident that resulted in the surgical removal of his spleen, and that's an important part of his immune system. And because we live on a farm, you can guess that having a healthy immune system for our family is very important. Some of the included ingredients are beetroot, chicory root, turmeric, moringa, blueberries, cranberry, goji berry, milk thistle, ginseng, alfalfa, broccoli, and so much more. It's these natural ingredients that can easily be made into a powerful and tasty drink that my family can make and feel good about. So sign up and give it a try today. Every purchase you make goes to help the homestead so that we can continue to make great homesteading videos for you. Link is in the description below. Go ahead, give it a try. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.